Oh, hold on. That's 3. Where's chapter 2? All right, let me do this. Chapter 2 is almost over. Wow, that took forever. Here we go. All right, I'm sorry. This should be our last section for chapter 2. And we're going to talk about safety and non-emergencies, non-medical emergencies, and how to handle emergencies also. So I didn't ask you guys about CPR if you have taken CPR already or if you need to. You're not going to get a CPR certification with this class, but I do have CPR and first aid classes for you to take. And I'll let you know when the next one is. And I'm not sure if it is going to be, it's not definitely not going to be November, but it should be in December. Okay. So body mechanics, we are going to always use good body mechanics because this is our only body that we have and we don't want to damage it. Uh, um, we also want to have good posture, even when we are using the gait belts or we're hunched over the bed. We're going to raise that bed up, or we're going to bend our knees instead of bending our back. We're always going to use good body mechanics. All right, so this is the way that we should be doing everything. Our feet are where the base of our support is. They're going to be like shoulder width apart, and our hips are going to go down. We're going to bend our knees and we're going to pick stuff up like that. We're not going to bend over to pick anything up. Okay. So whether it's picking up a box like him or her, I don't know if that's a woman or a man, or if it is picking up our patients, you know, picking up different equipment. You know, the other thing that we do is we give people baths and we stuff everything into one bag and then we pick it up. How are you picking it up? Or hopefully you're not dragging it down the hallway. And hopefully you're not taking it from one room to another room because that is contamination. But hopefully you are picking it, you're using your knees, going down, picking it up, and then dumping it in the soil utility room or soil linen room. All right. So we always want to have things close to us. We don't want to twist at the waist. We want to kind of pivot how we were pivoting the other day. Or I think that was yesterday. Make sure that we're pointing our feet towards the direction that we're moving. Okay. So we'll practice that again to make sure that we can pass that skill. But in life, make sure that you're using your good body mechanics. All right, so we already did most of this. You don't want to look like our first guy. You want to look like our second guy. Do some squats, get some squats in there, right? All right. Let's see. So the next thing we'll talk about is our fractures or emergency information. And I think here for the rest of these, we are, I'm going to just assign you some book work. And that way, instead of me just talking it through, you'll have to do some homework in your workbook and you'll be able to read it and find it in your book, answer the questions correctly, and then we can review it. Or you can review it with the workbook answers that you have in Google Classroom. You should have saw those pop up yesterday. All right, fall prevention. Falls is really, really, really big in the nursing homes, in the hospitals. Falls are really big because if someone falls, they could break something, they could injure something. If someone falls, that is an automatic incident report, and we want to know the reason why. Did they not have non-skid socks on or shoes? Was there something on the floor obstructing the walkway? Did we not answer the call light in time and they really needed to use the bathroom? Do we need to put a bedside commode right beside them, right beside their bed, instead of having them go to the bathroom and then we can't get to their calls on time? Falls should be prevented, and they really do expect for the falls to be prevented in every way because of the damage that happens afterwards. People can break their leg, they can break their hips, and then they would have to have some kind of surgery or go into rehab because of the fall. All right, NA should never try to catch a falling resident. This could result in greater harm to both you and the residents. Okay. So if they fall and we have them, we can kind of guide them to the floor. But you don't want to fall with them. You also don't want to have them fall on top of you, like block the fall. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your own body. And that's not good. Biomechanics, that's also not healthy. Report all falls to the nurse. We'll talk about burns, and the burns will be covered in our workbook. But with burns, why do we always ask? And I don't think we've done this yet, but you'll see this in our skills. We're going when we do our anything with water, we're going to ask the resident, how does this feel? Is the water okay? We're going to make sure that the temperature is okay with them. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. We don't want the resident to have any kind of burn incident. Okay. Also, what they're drinking. If it's coffee, we always have coffee on their tray. If they're able to get to the coffee, maybe make sure that it has a cap on top of it. So just in case it falls over, it's not gonna fall and drip all over their waist or onto their chest, because that hurts. Burns really do hurt. So if they can't feed themselves, don't leave them with that tray and have them to fend for themselves. Okay. If they have unsteady hands, then make sure that the cap is on or there's a lid on top of it. Okay. Choking, we're going to do the Heimlich maneuver next week. But choking, it has a greater risk if they are weak, if they're ill, sick, or if they're unconscious. Okay. So with choking, they need to be upright while they're eating, and 30 minutes after they eat, they still need to be upright, and then they can lay down and go to sleep, or lay down and relax. The other thing about eating with meals is they might have special diets. So with the special diet orders, you might have thickened liquids. They can still say they're at risk for choking or at risk for aspiration. That means that the food is going down the wrong pipe. Instead of it going down the esophagus and going into the stomach, it's going down their trachea and going into their lungs. Okay. If that happens, then you have food in your lungs, you're choking, and then you might have a little bit of issues with pneumonia because food shouldn't be in your lungs, only air. Okay. So they might have thickened liquids where they can eat fine, but their liquids need to be a little bit thicker so it can go down the right tube, go into their esophagus, and they won't choke. Okay, poisoning. We want to make sure that they don't even have access to poisonous substances. This could even be cleaning products. So if you're in there, you're cleaning stuff up, make sure that you take the cleaning products away. If there is housekeeping and housekeeping is in there cleaning and they leave a bottle of something, take it away from the room so the residents won't pick it up and drink it. Okay, you can call poison control. Poison control is one number to call. You can also call 911. It just depends. This is something that you're going to have to use your judgment with. Are they bleeding from the mouth because they just drunk something, or you just know that they drunk it and now you need to tell the nurse and the nurse will call poison control. All right. So let's talk about fire safety. And where is it? Is it going to go through our fire safety? I'm looking in the workbook right now. Yes. Okay. So I'll assign fire safety workbook answers so you'll be able to get that. And then CPR. We will do a little bit of CPR. We're going to do a little bit of the Heimlich maneuver, just enough so you will know what you're doing, but not the certification. Okay. So those are all the instructions for the CPR, bleeding and burns. Seizures, stroke, vomiting. Hand washing, we have done. We did that. Perineal care, we will be doing. Putting on gloves, we're going to do that next week. I am going to assign all of this so you'll be able to look at it in your book. And you are going to have some homework tonight, but it won't be due until Monday. So don't procrastinate. Take your time and do it because these are things that are important. But the CPR and the Heimlich maneuver for choking, we will do that together next week because I want you to get hands-on instead of me talking to you about it. All right, so I will stop this and then I will start chapter 3.